All right, we're rolling.
Okay. Should I start? Should you start?
Yeah, what is the name of the podcast and how does this work, by the way? Like,
Uh,
is it like every other episode, like you watch a thing and then I watch a thing? Or are we
yes.
both telling each other to watch a thing? Because I didn't watch a thing.
No, we're not doing that.
So it's like we're just volleying it back and forth.
Yeah.
This week is you, next time is me, vice versa.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love this. This is fantastic. I've done zero studying.
Okay. You didn't have to study for anything. Is do we want to have this be the only problem? I love
I
that name. Do you
I
have
like it.
another name? I don't
I
want to say a
have
better name. That was so full of myself. Do you have a better name, Santino?
Honestly, I don't think I could ever eclipse your genius, so I don't have a better name.
Okay.
No, I mean I like it. It sounds good to me.
Okay. Because then it's like the only problem with this movie is also, that's kind of the added the name works on so many levels.
I
That's
like the
part of
idea
the
that it's the only problem with Andy Matzke, and we just never introduce who I am, and it's
No,
just
it's the only
like
problem
there's
with Santino and Andy. It's
oh
both of us. It's not
yeah,
just me.
but I kind of like the idea that like there's another co-host, and we just never acknowledge that there is.
No, but we could try.
Yeah.
Um, and the way I advertise the show, it's like a solo Andy show, and
Right.
then you're
But there's
there.
always just this other guy there, and they're like, we don't know who is this guy, and you're like, I don't worry about
Is who?
him.
The only problem with Santino and Andy is this podcast. I don't know why that was so dramatic,
We
but
need
here
like
we
a
are.
drum roll. Dun,
Like a very
dun,
uh,
something, yeah.
oh, that's not a drum
That's not a
roll.
drum
That
roll.
drum
It's like
roll
a
would
it's
be
a
like
dramatic stinger.
that's
Yeah.
what a drum. Yeah, we need
We
like
need extra
the
music.
like the music from what's that show that's super popular?
That 70s show.
CI. It's not CSI. It's people, it's cops and they investigate crimes. Detectives, Law and
NCIS?
Order, Law
Oh.
and Order.
Doo-doo. Yeah, that.
Yeah, we need the. Let's put that in. I feel like there's no rules with what we're doing
With this
right
podcast?
now.
Heck no.
Yeah, there's no rules except there's a specific formula, and that's it.
Hmm.
So why don't you? Hey,
Yeah.
I'm Andy Matzke,
I'm
as mentioned
Santino
before.
Vitale.
That's
And
Santino Vitale.
let me tell you something, viewers. If you like
They're listeners.
podcasts,
There's
no,
no
you know
video
what
for
they're
you to this
watching, Andy?
podcast.
They're watching just a blank screen and they're hearing our voices come out of it. Let
They
me
are
tell you something.
so enraptured already with this show that they are just staring blankly at their phone screens. It's not even on. It's not even on, Santino. They're just,
They're
if
just
only they were watching
hallucinating
the
the
show.
show.
Right now, folks at home, I am watching Santino with a bed sheet strapped over his head. And it's rising and falling. So sometimes I only see his mouth. Sometimes I see none of his face. It's incredible. I wish you could be watching the show. Maybe can we put this up somewhere? We'll see.
We'll figure that out.
We'll burn that bridge when we come to
Mhm.
it.
Exactly.
Tell them at home. Tell the viewers at home what the show is about. We're
Listen, people
already
at home, here's what the show's about. Every week, we dare each other to watch a movie that the other person has never seen by some weird miracle in their life. They've never seen it. And like, I'll tell Andy, hey, have you heard of The Godfather? And he's like, I don't know what you're saying to me. And I'm like, The Godfather. And he's like, I don't know what that is.
the guy who was there when I got baptized.
No,
Yeah, Jonathan
no,
Zimmerman.
no, not anyone. You don't, none of these people are people you know. And he's like in awe. And then he watches the movie and he's like, that was okay. And that's the show. So like every other week, I'll tell him, hey, you should watch this. And he'll watch it and then we discuss it. And
Yeah,
then you do
and
the
then
same
you
thing.
listen to the show. That's
Yeah.
how we're going to do this. Part of the fun twist we wanted to put on this show is that the other person isn't at liberty. I might be saying this wrong. We're not going to tell the other person if the movie's good or bad.
Right.
Now,
We're
with
just going to
some
be like, you
movies,
have to watch it.
that'd be obvious. Like when I suggest inevitably the Lego Batman movie,
I know
that's
that's
going to be a
going to be
great
bad.
movie. That's cinema.
Pure cinema.
Like there's levels to this, but like with this week's movie, with 1999's The Mummy, I didn't know if Santino liked it or not. I don't know how he feels about it. I can kind of assume.
Yeah.
I know my good friend Santino Vitale enough, and I think we've talked about the movie before.
Hmm.
But I didn't know what I was in for, and that's part of the fun. And I hope you, the listener at home, will join us for this fun adventure into the cinematic wasteland that is
The cinematic
2025.
quagmire.
Because okay, guys, you don't get this at home. For Santino, this is really fun because he gets to experience. Wow, that was. I'm going to make this really like about me. He gets to experience some great movies with me for the first
Hmm.
time. He's
Yeah.
lucky because there's a ton of movies I haven't seen. If you know me personally, you know you've probably at least 5 times in your life been like, "Yeah, it's just like this movie," and I go, "I've never seen it." Well, for Santino, he's seen a lot of movies, and I haven't. So the movies that I suggest will either be like modern superhero movies or like modern bad movies, or maybe I'll like think really hard and ask Santino some questions about movies he hasn't seen that are classics, diamonds in the rough
Yeah.
of the cinematic experience.
Because there are
So
definitely some movies from that era. And when I say that era, I mean, of course, like Golden Age Hollywood or whatever that I haven't seen. I don't
that's
watch
very true.
everything. And there are certainly genres. I think you and I talked about this a few days ago, when we golfed, because that's what we do, because we're
Yeah.
grown men and we golf and we watch movies and
The
drink
last
non-alcoholic beer.
the last 2 times Santino I've hung out, we've golfed.
Yeah, like
It's been pretty
90-year-old
great.
men. It is.
I
It's
cannot wait
fantastic.
to do it for the next 60 years. If this is what it is,
Yeah.
I'm down.
I'm
I'm
I'm so
down.
down. Like it's just golf and movies and like me texting you the word poop. And it's it's
Yeah.
fantastic. By
We're
the
good
way,
friends. For those who don't know at home, we're good friends. Are you giving up the
I'm
experiment
giving up
of
I'm giving up the sheet. It's getting really
okay,
hot under the sheet.
that makes sense.
So viewers, if the audio just got a little worse, my apologies.
It did get a little bit worse, but it's okay. There's gonna come a time I think where I just take my shirt off if I get too hot. And then you'll know, then the video feed will cut
Hmm.
and and you'll see. But that's I don't even remember what I was saying. We're good friends.
Yeah, you were talking about like golf and friendship
Golf. I
and the
think
meaning
the
of life.
I think the funny nugget of truth that we need to drop about this podcast is that this is not our first crack at podcasting together. And it's all my fault that if you've loved the last however long this episode's been, and you're like, man, where's it been all my life? You could have had it 7 months ago, but I dropped the ball. Um, and where the idea for this podcast came from was this was going to be a reoccurring, what you call it, segment or like episode we would do on the show, like type of episode.
Hmm.
And the other day when we were golfing, it was like, well, why don't we just do that as a podcast? And we don't care about high production value or whatever, which for me, that's where I was like, oh, I don't know. It
Hmm.
has to be Oscar nominated. I don't know. But this is just surreal. I'm so happy to be doing this. It's also surreal because this is my well, will be one of 2 podcast recordings this week. I feel like Seth Breedlove in the 2010s, just recording podcasts all the time. So check out my other podcasts, Bizarre Sunday, out everywhere. I say out everywhere, and then almost every time I say that, someone comments like it's not on Puka Shell Network, and I'm like, what even is that? What are
I
you
have no
talking
clue.
about? It's I made it up just now, but they're always like, it's not on Scaredy Pods. I can't find it on Scaredy Pods. And it's like, well, why aren't you using Spotify or YouTube?
The cat has joined us.
The cat knows about Scaredy Pods.
Totally does.
Okay, so today we are talking about
Hmm.
1999's The Mummy.
Yes.
I think with more obscure movies, we should maybe give like a summary or like a
Yeah.
synopsis.
I feel like anybody who doesn't know, I mean, and this is one of many remakes of the classic story of the Mummy. So if no one knows what it's about by now, y'all can just.
And there's spoiler warnings all like who would even be like, oh, I was gonna watch that tonight and now I'm not gonna because you spoiled it.
Right.
This is a movie podcast. Do you think we're
Hmm.
gonna talk around the movie?
Yeah, we can't handle you
But yeah,
kids with
there's a lot
gloves. We can't handle
Yeah.
your kids
Hey,
with gloves, your gloves with kid hands, however that
wait,
phrase goes.
wait, what were
Handle you
you?
with kid hands or kid, handle your, get your gloves on.
I don't know what you're trying to.
Handle them
Why'd I
with
have an
kid
accent?
gloves.
Just
Handle them with kid gloves, I think is the term. Like we can't
listen,
coddle you guys.
Oh, okay. Okay, guys.
That's an old one. I'm reaching back.
Yeah. So we're talking about The Mummy. I watched it last night. Have you
Mhm.
watched it recently? Did you watch it in preparation?
I've done no preparation because I've
Nice.
been a busy man. However, I did watch it maybe just 2 or 3 months ago. Within this year, I watched it just
Okay.
ago. And I've seen the movie like probably a solid 10 times because I watched it when it came out as a kid, and then I watched it like every other year from then on. So I'm quite thoroughly familiar with it. But I'm so excited because this is your first watching of it. And you probably saw the Boris Karloff mummy, right? Like the original?
I've seen it, just not recently.
Okay. But I mean
So,
it's back in there
oh
somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah. So this one is obviously a massive upgrade.
Yeah, way different
Hmm.
in lots of ways. I just think it encapsulates this like bygone era to me. And I think we say that a lot when we talk about movies that were made more than like a decade ago,
Hmm.
maybe 2 decades ago, like 90s, 80s and 90s movies, where I don't see a movie like this being made these days, like at any level of what this is. It's just so different. Um, namely, like like VFX heavy, but like not awful, clearly thought through story
Hmm.
that actually is like finished and isn't world building. Like in that opening prologue, I went, wow, this movie just feels planned out.
Hmm.
Which, if you're watching movies these days, a lot of times it feels like, I mean, yeah, it feels like there's a guy who's like, we might do this and we might do this, we might do this, and we're gonna put it all together and you see what happens. This is like people sat down and were like, we're gonna do this, maybe because of the, and they thought about it.
Hmm.
So it was good. It I don't know. Where do you want me to go? I don't want to just ramble about this movie.
Well, so okay, I can kind of guide you here. So I guess first up, the thing that I'm curious about, and I think this will probably be the way that we approach a lot of these, is kind of outside in. So first impression would be like, let me rephrase that. The first thing I want to know is when I said, okay, Mummy 1999, you see the poster, you find it on whatever, was it Hulu? Where was it at currently?
I just rented it because I was too lazy because my
Okay.
phone said it. I didn't see anywhere it was
So
like
like
on Netflix,
Amazon
so I
Prime.
just yeah.
Sweet. So you get it in the queue, you sit down. What time did you start watching it? Would you?
Eight something, nine
Okay.
something, eight something. It was
So
eight.
you sit down, you press play. What are your expectations going into the movie?
I think I
I
have
didn't say necessarily this is a good or bad movie, but you had an aware you were aware of its existence.
yeah, I had a fairly like middle level expectations. Like it wasn't like I'm about to watch something crazy, but it also
Mhm.
wasn't like I was about to watch a movie that was on MST3K, right?
Right.
It's because I've seen a fair amount of like clips from like Corridor's VFX artist react stuff, and that
Mhm.
I realized that more and more that like wow, so much of this movie they've talked about like on that show. Um, but I was excited because I had only are
The cat just
you good?
yanked the cat yanked the headphones right out of my
Dang,
ears.
dang, sabotage.
Sabotage.
You looked like you'd hurt like your finger. Anyways,
Yeah.
I'd always heard about this movie. I've seen like the poster of it forever, and I think I don't know. I feel like I've seen so much of it that I was like interested to see what like the stories and the characters were
Mhm.
actually like. But I feel like it's just from that like opening prologue on. I mean, I tried to not get too into the prologue or like too invested because I mean, when we talk about great prologues, there's like Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is just like
Or,
that's phenomenal.
The Lord of the Rings,
Lord of the
any
Rings,
of the
yeah.
prologues of the Lord of the Rings.
But it still was like, wow, this is really good. There's that shot. I think it's the lady gets stabbed in shadow.
Hmm.
Imhotep, that's how you say it, right?
Hmm.
Imhotep.
Yeah.
Imhotep is like upset and he turns and it crossfades to another scene, but his lighting matches the and I was that's like one of those moments where I was like, oh, they thought about what was gonna happen. Wow, this is gonna be something.
Hmm.
And that kind of like started to pull me in of like just those like scene transition little details that just get me. And
Yeah.
it's I don't know.
Yeah, it's a startling thing when you can sit down and watch a movie and you're like, "Oh, I'm in good hands."
Yeah, that is what it felt like. It's like, oh, I'm at least for like from this point on, or
Hmm.
like at least with this part, this is going to be something. Like the
Yeah.
people, there's craft in this movie.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you'll hear often is like when you watch a movie, within the first few minutes, you should know if you're in for something good or something bad. Sometimes some movies take a while to get going, but most movies, like I remember when I was a kid, I was a teenager, and I went to see The Dark Knight. First time the movie comes on, you hear that like that Zimmer. It's not even a score, it's one sustained rising note. And then we get into the bank heist, and I was like, this, I don't care where this movie goes from here, I'm in, right?
Yeah.
That we don't do that in movies anymore. We just don't.
Yeah, I don't get it, but even the setup of the keys for the tomb and things like
Hmm.
that, that was like a cue of like obviously it's setup,
Yeah.
but it was we don't do setup well these days. And this is coming off the heels of watching a movie that people really critique for not having setup, which is Superman, which
Right.
might be foreshadowing for a future episode. We'll see what I decide. But which that's I think that's a different thing. But that's besides the point. Is this was just like, oh, they're setting up the movie thoroughly. And then the movie takes a while to I hate to say like get going, but for the movie being the mummy's not loose till like halfway through this movie, which is really interesting. But you don't mind. It kind of was like I think I paused it to go to the bathroom and I was like, oh, I'm like 45 minutes into this movie. And the royal we are 45 minutes into this movie and there's no mummy yet, but it's still a fun time.
Hmm.
We're still doing good.
Yeah,
So
and they on that note, so you get into the movie, you immediately realize, oh, I'm in good hands. This is not a modern film. This is a film that somebody thought about. This is somebody wrote the script and they had at least one draft of a finished script before they started shooting. Like
yeah,
we can tell. And then you get to the setup, and this is actually probably the part of the movie that I remember the least because the order in which things happen, like as many times as I've seen the movie, the order in which things happen tend to kind of get a little muddled in my head. So it's like we have the prologue, and then don't we get introduced to, isn't it like during the First World War, or there's like something going on, and so we
yeah,
get introduced to Brendan Fraser's character, and we get Benny's character. And
yes.
thus starts this movie-long scene-stealing little guy. He's perfect.
I I didn't know he was like funny the first scene, and then he
Hmm.
shows up again on the boat, and I was like, oh, it's this guy again.
Yeah,
It's like I don't know, and then he like becomes the henchman of the evil guy. It's like, oh, this guy
he's the
sucks.
perfect henchman. But he's so
He
likable
is.
in
I
being
mean,
in sucking, and he sucks so well, you're kind of like, I kind of like him. I want him to, I want to see him get hurt, but I kind of like him. He's
yeah,
fun. He's like the fun kind of rat that you just can't get enough of him, you know?
yeah. He really is, and his mustache just
Hmm.
made me ask all sorts of questions sitting there. Like that really was a thing. That the
Hmm.
pencil mustache.
pencil mustache, his fez, the whole like everything about him is
Can
wrong.
can I tell you what this movie made me feel like it was?
Sure.
And I don't know if you'll be able to relate. This
Uh,
whole movie in the best possible way, and I wish I could put my finger on this even more, felt like a mid 2000s Lego video game cutscene. Like of the Indiana Jones movies. Like because
hmm
there's Lego Indiana Jones where they like kind of goof up. They turn the goof levels up on
hmm
Indiana Jones. And that's kind of what this movie felt like.
Yeah.
I'd love to find any more like possible line between those two things to substantiate my feelings, but that's like, and again, in the best possible way. In
hmm
the fact that that's like a nostalgia filled, like that's where my heart is thing.
See, I love that there is such for the viewers at home, there is a bit of a generational gap here between myself and yourself. And I only bring it up whenever I want to either pull rank or when I want to make an example. But in this case, just so that people understand, so I'm technically a late era millennial. I was born in 94. And so you were born much later than that, after the towers fell. And so as a 22-year-old, you have a completely different set of references in your head for like how you would like I would the Lego thing would have never occurred to me. I
Well,
didn't
I'll
play
tell you,
that.
yeah, well, I'll tell you, like that's not a place I go to frequently in trying
No.
to be like, oh, this is like that. But
hmm
this movie, I wish I could. I mean, you could watch a compilation on YouTube, but
hmm
It's old Lego video games where they don't even have like the dialogue from the movies, where they're like,
Right.
"Brr, brr, brr, brr." It's like that's kind of that's what I don't. It's kind of just like the more like we're gonna have a fun time version of Indiana Jones is
hmm
what this and like looser. See, I even want to say like a looser grip on reality, but Indiana Jones movies are kind of out
It's
there.
like it's kind of like if Spielberg like after he did Temple of Doom, it's like if he went, let's keep doing this. And then the next one was like just pure supernatural insanity. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of what this is. And so that's the thing that I'm really also interested in hearing is your opinion on like of all the ways to update the mummy. In my mind, this was like the most genius way to do it because you made it fun and they made it like it's like swashbuckling. It's like an Indiana Jones movie, but with the supernatural element. Did you elaborate on that a little bit, that feeling?
I mean, when it comes to adapting things, you and I talk about this when we're golfing and grabbing dinner.
Hmm.
It's way more let's what I'm a fan of is way more let's what am I trying to say? Instead of trying to come up with a new angle or
Hmm.
something new, a lot of adaptations that are really solid combine things.
Right.
I mean, we talked about that. We've talked about that with like the Batman, right?
hmm
That it's or even Joker. It's not that it's this totally new original idea, but it's adapting a couple of things kind of implicitly
hmm
and it's making this new thing.
Right.
I like that. I like the ingredients they used with this. I don't know. I mean, you could with I think it's the funnest way you do it, right? Kind
hmm
of like to your point. You make it you make it Indiana Jonesy. You make it Raiders.
hmm
But a mummy is just fun because I think you make no attempt. Well, your attempt at explaining how there's a mummy is that there's a curse, and you full send that.
Yep.
I really, I tip my cap to that.
hmm
You know, there's a level of respect there, um, because it's a mummy movie, and I think there's a couple. There was things throughout this movie where I was like, I don't know about that, but it's a mummy movie.
Right.
Like it's what am
Full
I
suspension of
expecting?
disbelief.
I forget what they exactly all were. But there's a couple of times where it was like, well, that's a little weird. But it's like, well, I'm watching a mummy movie. So it
Right.
makes sense. And it doesn't it any other suspension of disbelief does not extend farther than it's a movie about an undead ancient priest,
hmm
right? I think that's maybe something we lose these days in like superhero movies or like your blockbuster movies is the bar is set at like what the title is. And then you start adding too much to that of your suspension of disbelief. It's like, well, what am I watching?
Right.
Right.
Well, and you make a great point there. And you'll find this as we continue the series. And just I'm sure you've already run into this in movies that you've seen just casually. It's every movie, regardless of how fantastical or how ridiculous, every movie has its own internal logic. Every movie has a world that it built, and it has rules. No matter how wild some of those rules are, there are certain things you can do in any movie that break it. And good storytelling is knowing where that limit is. And so within The Mummy, they never cross that line. They come almost up to it, and then they come right back down.
I think I think like one of the moments would be to actually give an example is when
Hmm.
they're on the boat and the cult or not, the protectors of
Yeah.
Imhotep's place, they come on the boat and Brendan Fraser's reloading his gun and he's getting shot at and the lady grabs him so he just
Hmm.
barely doesn't get shot. Like
Yeah.
that's an example of it was like, well, for a second,
Over the
the
top, but not quite.
yeah,
It's just
but
there.
you're watching a movie and this is
Hmm.
like kind of what I'm telling myself, right? Because maybe I was in a slightly cranky mood watching this, right? I was or it wasn't I didn't start watching it late enough, right,
Hmm.
to not care. We get to
You
this.
didn't have enough non-alcoholic beer
I
in
didn't
you to
have,
not care.
yeah, exactly. um that it was like, oh no, this is, well, I'm watching a movie about a mummy. They're gonna go or like the city appears when they're
Hmm.
in the right spot. It's like, well,
Yeah.
you're watching a movie about a mummy. Like, what do you what do you
Yeah, what
want?
more do you want
because
from it?
because if it was more realistic or if it was more explained,
Hmm.
then it wouldn't be a movie about a mummy,
Right.
right? So I respect it. Like that's not even diminishing the movie. That's not putting it in its place.
Mm.
That's just a mummy.
Yeah. Well, so okay, so this is great. So you watch the movie, we're getting through it. They're on the boat. Of course, you'll recognize that the whole boat thing is kind of an homage to King Kong because the natives get on the boat and they try to take the woman. In this case, they get on the boat and they're trying to stop them from doing what they're doing. And I love that they set the movie in like 19, I want to say 1914 or something like that, 1911. It's that's not a time period you normally see represented much in film. We see the 30s a lot, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, all the way up. And we see like the 1890s. We almost never see the teens of like turn of the century, 20th century. So that's an interesting aesthetic. And then you've got excellent casting here. Brendan Fraser, like in his prime, Brendan Fraser, fresh off of like George of the Jungle and like Encino Man and all that. Like he's it. He's hot stuff right now. You've got, I think, a 21 or 22-year-old Rachel Weisz. So like prime Rachel Weisz. And then all these really excellent character actors. And to add all that together and balance everyone's humor and give everyone enough screen time, I felt like for as many wild swings as this movie was doing, and it does a lot of them, it feels balanced. Maybe that's just my perception because I like the movie a lot, but what was your take on that?
I think part of it is there's this element of whenever you watch a movie that's not from right now, you're
Hmm.
removed from it some.
Yeah.
And so there's even some of the like jokes in the movie I was not expecting and kind of just took getting used to. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, we're doing this. Or like
Yep.
oh, it's because you're a woman, like
Hmm.
full send of that. That's like, okay. I mean, it's the 1910s, but okay.
Hmm.
And that's part of, I mean, not the sexist jokes, but that's part of the Lego cutscene vibe that I was getting. Would just be like the what stinks, and then it's the like the guy, not
Hmm.
the camel, is like that type of straightforward humor. And what's also really interesting about this movie that maybe you can help me like verify because I didn't like sit down and run the math on this. They don't like swear a lot in this movie.
No, it's PG-13, so they can't
but like
do
but
much.
like 1999 PG-13.
Hmm.
So like they're not really saying
Almost
anything,
nothing. Yeah, I think it
which
might be like a couple hells or darns or like it's very clean.
Yeah, which was like that hit me watching the movie. Cause I
Mhm.
mean, any movie you watch these days, even like Paw Patrol,
Mhm.
they're dropping S bombs, F bombs. It's like guaranteed
In Paw
this day.
Patrol?
Yeah. I mean, like
Paw
any movie
Patrol
you
is
see.
I don't know about Paw Patrol,
I
but
mean,
maybe I guess I haven't watched Paw Patrol, so maybe they've got like is Tracy Morgan voicing them in Paw
yeah.
Patrol?
It's
Okay.
Tracy Morgan, um,
Richard
Giancarlo
Pryor,
Espinoza.
Giancarlo Espinosa. That guy's
Um,
everywhere. I'm
that
really like
and who's the other guy who's everywhere? He's in Fantastic Four.
oh, Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal's
I
in
think
Paw Patrol.
yeah, he's in Paw Patrol, but he's like feeling up all the female dogs, so you gotta he's nervous,
Yeah,
guys. He's
yeah.
nervous.
I don't understand. Hey, total sidebar. I don't understand that he's just nervous. I haven't looked a lot into it. I was scrolling Instagram one day, and then it was like, watch this video of Pedro Pascal and William Dafoe's
hmm
wife,
Yeah.
and it was like, oh, and then the
Yeah.
defense was he's nervous,
Yeah. No, he doesn't see. He says
right? Or
that
is that
like
what it's? Is
that's the
that
defense. That's the
okay?
defense. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think it's genius. I wish I would have come up with that to be like, honk honk. Oh, sorry, I'm nervous. I had to feel all the lumps. Like, I'm sorry. You want to kiss? I'm just
I
nervous,
just, I just don't. For those who don't know what we're talking about, don't worry about it.
Everyone
But
knows.
Pedro Pascal, yeah, I don't understand the like, yeah, I'm just a nervous guy. I don't know what to do with my hands.
I need
Think
female contact constantly.
I don't know.
He says that
Pedro,
he does
Pedro,
it
Pedro.
with his male co-stars too. I don't see it as much, although I have seen some. But notice he's never nervous around Bella Ramsey. Only the really pretty ones.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, I get pretty around nervous girls, and I get nervous around pretty girls, okay? Um, it's weird because all I've had to drink today is water, and yet I sound like an absolute lush right now.
I get pretty around nervous girls is a
Mhm.
great book title or like essay title.
That's a great
Oh,
essay title, and today I saw a really great band name, Glamour Pudding.
wow. That
Yeah,
is good.
that's a Julia Child. That's like a thing she made on her show, by the way, which I don't want to take us way wide of our movie, but have you ever watched any Julia Child?
Is she the cooking lady that we were talking about the other day?
hmm
Because that's
Oh,
I was trying to
yeah.
put the is she the one who's Southern?
No, she talks like this, and she has it's like a received pronunciation North Atlantic thing. She's like from the early 1900s. Very
No.
tall lady, used to cook, and she always sounds like she's being goosed constantly. She's like, and today we're going to be cooking some chicken. It's like,
Wow.
like constantly. Did you ever see the SNL, like the classic SNL, like Dan Aykroyd does Save the Liver? He does like Julia Child, and she like cuts an artery and he bleeds out. Okay, well
I'm
that's
shaking my head no.
yeah, that's something you need to have in your life. But so I've been for the viewers at home, I've been watching a lot of Julia Child for research, and that's not a weird sentence. And I found out that like her whole show kind of feels like an Adult Swim parody. Like if you watch the show, it feels it feels like it's super awkward. It feels like they're doing things on purpose. And at one point I was watching one today where she made like pizza. And she gets the pizzas out of the oven literally on drawer bottoms. They're like the wooden inserts from drawers. They're like varnished and everything. She makes a point of saying that these are drawer bottoms. And she pulls the pizzas out of the thing and she puts them one at a time on the table so that the camera can see. But she like shoves them on. So she's like, here's a pizza and here's another pizza. We're making pizzas today without soggy bottoms. I'm the French chef. And then this like insane music starts because her theme song for her show was like, it's like circus music.
Yeah. I didn't hear
Anyway,
you what you just did. If
oh, it's
I don't
like
know if okay.
it's like really crazy music, and it kind of mimics her speech pattern a little bit because it
Was
keeps going.
she Adult Swim before Adult Swim?
I
Was she
think she
like
was.
the conspiracy theory? Was she the like Eric Andre of her time?
I think, yeah, and she didn't mean to be. She would say really unintentionally funny things, and then there are whole moments where you can tell she's waiting for them to go to commercial, like she doesn't know what she's gonna say. Because she'd like finished a thing and then she like steps over and she's like, so we have that over there. And then there's just like dead air and she's just staring. And you can tell she's kind of like, well, and then she just kind of starts doing something else.
Classic TV is incredible. Like
It's
the
madness.
Dean Martin show.
Hmm.
I've seen some clips from that of just him singing because there's some Dean Martin songs I really dig. And
Hmm.
there's times he'll like mess up, and the like mess up moments, which like I'm here's me talking about Dean Martin and being like, guys, you know Dean Martin's got swagger? He does. He does, guys. And but even those moments where like they had such production
Hmm.
value, or just like, man, how far we've came. Anyways, 1999's The Mummy.
1999's The Mummy. Now that we went all the way around the circle.
Can I ask you my question about
Sure.
1999's The Mummy?
Hmm.
So I texted Santino this question last night because I wanted him to at least mentally prepare for my
Hmm.
answer, for his answer, for my answer, for his answer to
Someone's
the question,
answering.
which is, why does even the bad visual effects shots in this movie look good? Or like at least better than bad VFX today? And maybe I can be more particular
Sure.
and like
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. So like some of the particle stuff, which isn't as good as today,
Hmm.
but looks just fine. The bugs, the little guys
Yeah, the
are
locusts.
are bad, but they're good.
And most of the plagues don't really, they're not good,
They don't
but
look great.
right.
Also, something I realized I have no clue how it actually maybe works is, and this could be a subtopic, is how the heck do they get CGI onto film? But we can talk about that later. That's part. I tired Andy could not figure that out, and also didn't feel like googling it. I understand
It's a
how compositing
complicated.
works back
Yeah,
then,
it's
but
complicated. Scanning, basically, that's the short answer. They would scan the film in and then they would comp on top of it and then they print it back to film.
how do they print? How can you print
So
onto film?
you just expose it in an optical printer back to film.
So do you have a little screen, or do you
Effectively,
have
yeah. And then you
like
would have a lens to focus it because in the old days of the optical printer, like when they were doing like optical mats in Star Wars, the optical printer was basically just at its simplest form, if you boil it down, all the optical printer was a series of projectors and cameras lined up and different strips of film
so do they?
interacting with each other. That's the most basic
But
way to.
how would they project the computer thing
So
onto
that
film?
from there, you've
That would
got
it be a
just a.
digital projector?
So for this, I'm actually not 100% sure if it's a digital projector or if it's a cathode ray tube or if they're doing it from an RGB split. I'm not sure what
Okay.
they're doing, but they are getting it back onto film through via exposure. So it could
We're
even be
really
like a.
Oh, so are you saying, and this is really Andy figures something out with Santino instead of just
Mhm.
Googling it. I hope you guys enjoy. He should do this. Ask your friends who know things questions. Are you saying they'd scan the film and then they'd see? I still am lost because how does it get back to film? But like in this day and age, they'd scan it from film, shoot on film,
Mhm.
they'd scan it in, and then it would all be digital, and then it'd go to ship digitally. That makes sense. But
No.
how?
Yeah, so they still have to they have to print it to film. So what they would often do is you would scan it in so that you can do your composite, right?
Yes.
And I'm just going to bring this up so that I can be accurate. Um, how did they get
You should Google that
images?
now and you're like, oh, I'm wrong.
Yeah, how did they? Well, I want to because actually this is the thing I was never clear on because I've never had to do it. So how did they get images uh, from digital digital to film? Um, Let's see. To get images from digital film, you use a process that involves specialized machines like oh yeah, so they would laser print it basically. Area laser, high resolution monitor, and film camera. So again, they're okay. So I was like half right. So they're effectively it's like a laser scan or a laser printing onto the thing. So
So
or a very
they'd
high
print
res.
onto the film.
No, they're exposing, but they're exposing like through a slit scan. So instead of having like, you just have like in the old optical printer, you would have your projector. So it's a film projector
Yeah.
going onto film that's exposing. That's simple enough. Well, this is digital. So from digital, you can slit scan onto film. So you're exposing the frame, but you're exposing the frame from top to bottom. one
Okay.
frame at a time, and then the next frame, and then they're exposing top.
So it's a digital thing that
Yeah. But it
okay,
exposes your light is in a slit and it scans from top to bottom or side to side, but it's a split
so
scan from top to
grossly
bottom.
oversimplified, it is like a digital projector that's projecting onto the film.
Right.
Okay.
In its most basic form, but it's they're doing it in a way that is going to optimize the resolution because digital projectors at the time, of course, were not high fidelity. So if you use a slit scan technique, you're actually able, it's the exact same as when you scan something in a scanner. You're using
Okay.
just a very small photo site, and so you're able to get all this data added to it. It's a super slow way to do that. And the way that they had to
Okay.
color manage everything was insane too, because once you scan the film just to digitize it, you scan the film in, but now it has to exist in a different color space. This is how we end up with all the different color spaces we have now. So you have an RGB color space. They hadn't invented log yet. So, okay, now you're working on an RGB monitor, but now you have to get it back to film, but now your colors are weird. So now you have to try to, yeah, it's this whole thing.
Yeah.
I actually think that they talk about it in not a lot of detail, but they go over it briefly on an episode of VFX Artists React. I'm sure there's whole
Yeah.
things about it
Because it
somewhere.
just that was something I was watching it, and it's a very clearly and very interestingly shot on film movie.
Hmm.
Like maybe it was just the fact I was like renting it from Apple TV that made it seem so obvious, but it's like this is shot on film
Yeah.
before that's even a I mean, and not to be like a vibe, not like
Hmm.
when A24 movies shoot on Kodak, but like this is shot on film
Hmm.
in such an I don't again like because it's grainy
Hmm.
and because the ISO kind of clearly jumps
Yeah.
and the I don't know I'm not against it too because like I'm a big analog guy, but
Hmm.
that was like a how and then yeah because it kind of maybe to you can then answer my question of because the VFX stuff
Hmm.
looks so good on on a movie that at least like the scans we have on streaming don't necessarily look crazy good.
Right.
So it's just it boggles my mind. And I hope you guys, new listeners to the podcast, are probably thoroughly confused by most of what we've talked about. But that's hey, this is going to be the show is breaking down nuts and bolts and because we're both Santino and I are both filmmakers. Santino really is, and I pretend to be on podcasts. So
Yeah, I think to your point about the film, I was just looking at another thing here on that process, um, which just to add a little more to that whole like slit scanning thing, they're printing it to film, not as in like printing. They're exposing the film in quadrants at a time with red, blue, green, and blue lasers. So it's literally an RGB split scanning from top to bottom to individual frames of film over and over. Now, what's great about this is by the time you get to 1999, right, they've already been able to develop enough techniques to go from digital film and then vice versa. So by this point, I think we're 2 years out from the release of Lord of the Rings. And Lord of the Rings and O Brother, Where Art Thou are the first, or possibly some of the first two movies to ever have a digital intermediate color grade. Because up to this point, film is still color corrected photochemically, right? So you have to just be in a dark room and know what the heck you're doing, and you can push and pull it a bit, and you can kind of tint it a bit, and they would often expose things with light. Like it's all very tactile. It's very analog. But then you get to this place where, well, now we're scanning this film in, and it can exist digitally. We can edit it digitally. So while we're doing all this, we might as well just keep everything digital until we need to send it to the theater. So by 99 to early 2000s, they're not even bothering getting it back onto film for anything optical until the very last stage. And then that's when they ship out the film reels to theaters because I remember as a kid still like they still had film. You could still see film going by in the projection booth. And I think they eventually switched all the way to digital projection by, I want to say 2011 or 12 or something like that. Like it was 2010s by the time they did it. So, yeah, back to the basics of your question. They were printing to film for a long time. And
that's so
by
interesting.
99 they had pretty much mastered that.
Yeah, so if you've made it this far into our ramblings about this and you don't really know my question,
Hmm.
you're I don't really know who to talk to because you're either really old or you're really young.
Right.
But just think about the fact that if they're shooting on film, they're shooting on like an analog medium.
Mm.
That then if you're doing any CGI, any computer generated images, it's a digital thing. And
Hmm.
I understood that you scan the film in and then that's how you do your work. But where my confusion was, how do you turn it back into that analog medium?
Mm.
Because even our answers, we talk about like all the advances in visual effects work, but we don't talk about this stuff. I feel like this doesn't get enough airtime. The fact we had to like talk about the breakthroughs that were Terminator and Jurassic Park, but like we had to get the digital stuff back to an analog medium. And I just
Hmm.
can't imagine having to do that today. Like, I don't know.
Mm.
I deal with just dealing with digital is enough stress that
Yeah.
like imagine, and even what you're saying now, like imagine having to be in a time when you have to do the analog stuff right
Hmm.
and then do it digitally and then do the analog stuff right
Hmm. Back and
is
forth.
just is just nuts. And that's how we got these great movies that
Hmm. Well,
we
and
love.
so many of the things that you use in Adobe, because you're using Premiere, you're
Yeah.
using, you're familiar with all that. A whole lot of that stuff was written for movies by guys in like the 80s and 90s. Like the Null Light Factory that was John Knoll who came up with that. Like I'm pretty sure he's also the guy behind Photoshop. Like they were writing,
I know that's true.
yeah, they were writing the technology to do the things they needed to do on the fly because they realized, oh, great, we just scanned the film into the computer. Now we can composite. And then somebody in the office went, how do you get it back to film? And they're like, oh crap. Okay,
Yeah.
give me a week and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, John Knoll, for folks at home, like an employee at Lucasfilm who is also responsible for like the story of Rogue One.
Hmm.
Like just a guy working there is the guy who wrote Photoshop,
Yeah, he's a giant
which is
within filmmaking in the industry. It's nuts. And
yeah.
Lucas as well. Like
Yeah.
love or hate Star Wars, which it is culturally significant. It is what it is. It
Do
has so
you
much.
hate Star Wars?
I'm not a Star Wars fan. I loved it as a kid. I once I saw the original trilogy, I was like, this is cool. And then I saw the trilogy from 99 on, I was like, I'm done with this. And I never looked back. But what it did, what it allowed filmmakers to do with film, because Lucasfilm and ILM, all that, and Pixar, they all sprang out of the same petri dish effectively. So just to do these things that he had no idea how to do, everyone was making it up as they went. And by the way, not we are getting for the viewers at home, we are getting back to the movie, but like for your own knowledge and excitement, Andy, I'm really excited to see how impressed you'll be with some of the films that we cover because the magic of what filmmaking is, and filmmaking is a magic trick, gets lost after like 1990 in terms of like visual effects, or like 1992. By the time you can start doing things digitally, it starts to fade away. And there are movies I've seen even recently in the last year or two where something happened in camera and I went, how? Because they didn't have digital. And this was literally, they just had to do it somehow. And that's so much more entertaining. And that's why I love watching older movies for all those reasons and more. But yeah, so for The Mummy, I think your original question was the one I was supposed to prepare for, which was why does even the bad digital look good by comparison to today, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the reason, and you kind of said it at the beginning of this podcast, is because they actually took a minute, thought about what they wanted to do, and they planned. And there was a lot of artistry too, because what was happening was they were doing things and they were doing things that they knew had a weakness, and so they were playing to the strength of it. And they were using their artistry to make up for it. So like they would brute force their way to make something that looked good. So even though the sand particle system is like a super rudimentary, like it's not even like it's nothing like a particle system now. It's more akin to like sprites and After Effects CS1. Like it's super basic. But they put a lot of artistry into it and they knew how to light it to make it look good. And so that's why it looks good.
So it really is it's kind of the thing of a movie like Godzilla Minus One, where you have
Mhm.
a director who just so happens to know what to do right and what not to do. And so
Exactly.
this like that's so interesting that that's literally because I mean, from my experience in dealing with VFX, and you know way more. For those who don't know, dear listener, Santino is a incredible visual effects artist. It is literally the difference between planning it out in advance and know advanced in advance and
Mhm.
knowing what you're doing versus winging it. We'll fix it in post. I mean, you hear this a lot. You hear this on VFX artists react all the time these
Mhm.
days, but it's true. It's like it literally is planning, preparation, and execution. And you could probably make more words that end in ION in there, but that makes this different. And that's so interesting because it even, I mean, I think of, and I'll say it, and maybe like this is not just to promote things we've done, but
Mhm.
your film, The Beast, right? Your short film, Santino did this spec ad that's really good
Mhm.
called The Beast. If I'm the one posting this, I have to remember to put this in the description. But it's just really interesting that we shot in the basement of a library
That they
with
overcharged us for.
on a green screen,
Mhm.
but you knew what you were doing and you thought about it and you knew what you could do and couldn't do.
Mhm.
And so it works.
And we shot it in black and white,
Yeah.
which you can get away with murder when you're only having to do tone instead of color.
And see like and elements like this. So it's kind of maybe for the if we still have any casual viewers
Yeah. If
of
anyone's
movies,
listening to
yeah,
this
if
at
anyone's still
all,
listening, like that's the difference between stuff that you go, oh, that was really interesting versus, oh, that sucked.
yeah.
Like a movie, like movies like the Fantastic Four, I will bet
Mhm.
had a ton more planning because a lot of those visual effects shots, I didn't even think about how good they looked because they weren't distracting,
Right.
like because they weren't bad.
Mhm.
So it's it's kind of crazy when they sit down and they think and how much of a difference that makes.
Mhm.
So I
Well,
have to
and
ask.
you,
God,
well, sorry, but just to piggyback on that as a like a last like point, mostly for the audience's benefit, because I know you probably already know this, but so like in Jurassic Park, the very first Jurassic Park, the T-Rex paddock scene, the reason that still holds up today is because half the time you're not looking at CG, you're looking at a full-size dinosaur animatronic, and they're cutting to that when it's important. But then when they need to see the whole thing, they're doing a digital T-Rex. But the reason the digital T-Rex holds up is one, you have perfect reference because you actually shot a thing there in the rain so you can see what it looks like. But two, the reason it looks good is because the rain wasn't just because Spielberg likes rain. And by the way, guys, Spielberg loves rain. Like Spielberg rain is its own genre, kind of. But the reason it looks great is because they went, okay, we don't have photorealistic shaders. The T-Rex is gonna look like plastic if we try to make it look like a diffused surface. What's gonna look good? Well, a really reflective surface. Well, what reason on earth would a T-Rex have for being reflective? Let's make it rain and then he'll be wet and he'll be reflective. And then let's keep him backlit so most of the thing is in shadow. And now it just looks good. Like they know what to do. And they do the same thing in The Mummy a lot. They keep him like with really hard light from like either a torch on the ground or from
yeah,
moonlight or something.
I noticed that there's the scene. I think when he meets his um, what's the word I'm looking for? We already said it. The Benny's character. He's
Oh,
a
his henchman.
henchman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
It's a two shot.
mummified Imhotep. Yeah,
Hmm.
he's lit so well,
Hmm.
and that's what makes that shot work. Besides the fact he looks fantastic, and the uncanny valley is mentioned way too much these
Hmm.
days, and it's not even uncanny valley where it's like this is clearly kind of like we're talking about. This is within the suspension of disbelief
Yeah.
is what this character looks like and feels like as whatever it is. We can talk about that in a second.
Well, it helps that
We
he's a
want,
corpse. Like that
yeah,
takes away the uncanny valley very quickly.
yeah, is that it's not a guy. It's
Right.
like this mummified. Like how much reference do you have for mummified dead guys who are moving and alive?
Right. Most your casual audience does not.
Yeah, there's probably a couple guys listening now who are a little offended, but
Hmm.
it's
Those few NCIS, like the coroner down the street is like, I can tell you what a
yeah,
mummy looks like.
it's not realistic at all. But it's just so interesting, and it's lit so well. It's
Hmm.
that scene, yeah, that is like the two shot of them is just like wow.
And he starts immediately trying every possible religion to see what's going to get him out of the jam.
That was so funny. Like, and I don't know, like I loved that when he got to Judaism, it was oh the slaves
Yeah, the language of
language.
the
It
slaves.
is like oh that was I don't know that was cool.
Yeah, it's a fun touch. It's they know their history.
Yeah, yeah. It's just I mean I think talking about this movie helps me like it more. I don't know,
Hmm.
just because there are so many detail, like little things you can pull out of this movie that are just gold, little nuggets of gold.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a depth here. Like I said, and in our future episodes, we'll do this where it's like, casual thoughts and then this and then this. And the more you dig into some of these movies, the good ones anyway, the more you can appreciate the craft and the more you can just appreciate the story and just even as a surface level, it's just a fun movie. And my favorite thing, because that's the thing I'm going to ask you, like as soon as I say this, then I'm turning the question around on you. Like favorite moment. Favorite moment for me, hands down, since the time I was a child and saw this to this day, cracks me up like dying on the floor laughing, is when they're like it's just started like the water turned to blood, it's like raining fire or whatever. And so they're coming around the corner and Benny's like coming down the stairs and he quickly hightails it back up the stairs and they come in there and O'Connell grabs a chair and just wings it at him and it breaks on his back. That moment is so funny to me, and it kind of comes out of left field. I don't know why that cracks me up, but that whole scene is gold.
I think there's a lot of moments like that where the action of this movie is
Hmm.
just so in the like cartoony swashbuckling
Right at
where
the
just
top.
something like happens and you're like, wow.
Hmm.
I mean, I think a moment that stood out that was like, oh dang, is there's two and they're related. It's
Hmm.
when the professor guy gets his eyeballs and tongue removed, and
Hmm.
he's like, he took my tongue,
Yeah,
and he doesn't have no eyes.
right.
That was like, this is a scary movie.
Yeah,
Like
that freaked me out as a
I
kid. Like,
I thought we were just having fun, guys. What the heck? And then when they revisit him, like when they visit him,
hmm.
and Imhotep's in that mask, and he's
Hmm.
just sitting there, it's freaky.
Yeah.
And then Benny's like all weird,
Hmm.
and then you're like, oh no, because you
Yeah,
know
it
what's gonna
gets
happen to the
creepy.
poor guy,
Hmm.
and then it does. That's like that's weird. The Americans at first, like the band of Americans, kind of annoyed me. I think
Hmm.
my patriotism got in the way of me enjoying them sooner. But then like when they show up, I think it's in Cairo when like the
Hmm.
plagues are hitting. They're just fun, and I was
Yeah.
kind of upset to see them die because they're like, well, this is weird. Like they're just like, okay, we're in this now. They kind
Hmm.
of start off as this jerks. The guy constantly is reminding me of Josh Brolin. There's like a Josh Brolin
Yeah.
knockoff.
There's a bit of a discount Brolin in there. For
And
sure.
sorry if you're listening, dear sir. And then it and then they just die. They die
Yeah.
one by one. There's a lot of part of what this movie maybe rubbed me the wrong way or where the disconnect was there's so many characters who kind of just die and that's like,
Hmm.
oh, that's it.
That's all they were there
Like the
for.
warden,
Hmm.
dead. That's it. That guy, dead. I was about to be like very mad when the one um whatever they are, the protectors of Imhotep, like just grabs the gun and
Hmm.
sacrifices himself.
Yeah, but then he's okay at the end
Then
then.
he's okay.
He's good.
I was about to be
Spoiler
like,
alert.
he was in the whole movie.
Hmm.
Also, this is another example of something where it's like, well, it's a mummy movie. If
Hmm.
you guys are trying to stay hidden and not show off that you're protecting Imhotep, don't hide at the top. Don't stand on the top of this hill just watching everything.
Hmm.
Was like, guys. Also, how can they see from that far?
They have those eagle eyes,
They
man. They're
got
like
those
he's got those
bing.
dreamy, eagle-eyed, whatever he is. I don't know if he was whatever his nationality was, but
Yeah,
they gave
that's
him extra screen time. I remember hearing this. I think this is true. I remember hearing like the director say like that it was originally more of a throwaway character, and the guy was so darn good looking. They're like, we need to give him more screen time. They just kept bringing him back.
come up with something true to say about him.
Yeah. I come up
That's
with something true. We need to come up with something true, Andy. Um,
yeah.
so
But
okay.
that's
So that's like favorite moments. That's like general things that you thought how the movie went. So then usually the way we would do this on the old podcast that's buried, it'll never see the light of day. But on the old
there's a
podcast,
cult that protects the old podcast, a
right,
secret
right.
society
A
that
secret
protects the old.
society with tattoos on their face, and they ride horses on hills for no good reason and look down at the town. But we would normally do like we just ask, okay, in general, like how'd you like it? Did you hate it? And then it usually gets into like a rating, and then there's like a final like does it have Andy's heart, which is like a
Yes.
place in his body where he reserves in
A
his
space
soul.
to carry the movie with me
Yes, wherever he
wherever the
goes.
wind may take me.
And that's only reserved for the best of the best. And so far, in the previous episodes of A Thing That They'll Never See, they both won your heart.
What was the other one?
There was Napoleon
I
Dynamite and
That's
there
what it was.
was
Oh, duh.
and The Fugitive.
I just I forgot about Napoleon Dynamite. I knew it was The Fugitive,
Hmm.
but I forgot it was. I was actually thinking about this when we were going to record this. Like, I know we did more than one, and I can't remember the movie.
Yeah, it was The
Napoleon
Fugitive and
Dynamite
Napoleon
is
Dynamite.
such a movie that I've taken with me wherever I go. It just feels like I've always known that movie. Except,
Welcome to the world of Napoleon Dynamite.
yeah, there was there's a moment in my real life yesterday where I was like, I feel like I'm in Napoleon Dynamite,
Hmm. Well,
where
you
I
called
was.
out Kip and LaFonda the other
I
day
did
at the
that.
restaurant.
I
It
I
sticks with you,
saw it.
man.
I saw it, man. I Another time on the podcast we'll talk
Hmm.
about that more. I liked the movie.
Hmm. Clearly.
Rating system, I
We
feel like
do
we'll
we
have the
do
most.
one we do 1 to 10s, just like
Yeah,
IMDb. So like where are you at here?
I'd give it like, see, and this really sets what I'm going to give other things, I feel like, but I'd give it like
Well, bear in mind your ratings for the previous things
I
that
have
you
no
already
clue
did.
what I said.
I think you gave Fugitive like a 9 or something, like an 8 or a 9.
I think The Fugitive's a great movie.
Right. So I mean,
And
if
I think
that's your bar, then keep that in
this
mind
has
for
to
where we're at.
be, see, and I like it and it has my heart are subjective.
Right.
Objectively, I feel like this is like a 7.5,
That
8.
tracks. Yeah.
It's nothing crazy and it's far from perfect
Hmm.
objectively, whatever that means. I ran the numbers and I think it's like a 7 because but it's a great 7.5.
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny that you say that because that's basically where I land with it. It's like a 7.5 to like an 8. It's like to me, the categorization is always like if it's a 6, that's most watchable movies. They're like a 6. If it's like a 6.5, that's a really watchable movie. If it's a 7 or above, it's like a modern classic. And anything above an 8 is like classic, classic. So I feel like Mummy is 99 is kind of like a modern classic.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
I don't know what I mean by modern. It is 26 years old at this point, but
yeah.
it's a
We're in the
classic.
postmodern era.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then does it have my heart? I don't think so.
I
Like,
didn't
and
expect it to.
I almost like need to like I want to set that bar because Fugitive and Napoleon Dynamite were both like movies I loved so much.
And I
But
love that there couldn't be a bigger dichotomy between the two that have your heart as The Fugitive and Napoleon Dynamite.
yeah,
One is
it's like
like an Oscar nominated, like it's a best picture, and then the other one is like literally half a notch up from a student film that just got lucky. And those are the
yeah.
two that are on the top.
Well, can I tell you about the movie that I haven't been able to stop thinking about for some reason this week since
Sure.
yeah, this week since Sunday?
Hmm.
It's a MST3K film at The Last Sacrifice. Have you
Oh,
seen it?
oh,
No,
Final
Final Sacrifice.
Sacrifice. Yeah,
Yeah,
with
Final Sacrifice.
Zap Rowsdower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rosdower
Hmm.
is what started it because during church I thought Rosdower and I texted that to my dad. And then
It's a classic. It's a classic.
and it's just it's such that's such a wild movie that I think has my heart for no other reason than like I it was one of my and is one of my favorite MSTs of all time,
Hmm.
like all around. Like Crow or not Crow, Tom hating Canada is like an ongoing thing where like
Hmm.
even in the 90s, they were
Hmm.
like, whoa, man, chill
Hmm.
out. Like that's just so great. Anyways, that's another episode where we talk about MSTs we like. Which by the way, hey, I meant to say this earlier when we were introducing what the show is.
Hmm.
Can we have a couple episodes where we talk about movies we've already seen, both seen?
Oh yeah. And I mean,
Okay.
I feel like it kind of comes up anyway. Like we already, like for goodness sake, we started on a whole rabbit trail about other stuff multiple times throughout this. But yeah, we can talk about stuff we've seen. Um, and I do think that there will be times, as we stated at the beginning. In general, the idea is we're not telling each other whether or not it's a good or a bad movie. That will be obvious what it is. Like if I'm like snakes on a plane, you're like, I know how stupid this is going to be. However, I do think that there are times when it might be beneficial to tell the person like, this is a really dumb movie, and we make it like I feel like that's individual
It's
discretion. Like
it's
when
only
it's
it's only fair, I
hmm
think, right? Especially we're both busy guys. It's like you're
hmm
asking the other one to set apart like 2 3 hours.
hmm
3 hours.
there's no
3 hour.
bad movie that's like 3 hours, but
I don't
hour and
like
a half.
long movies. I do
Mhm.
not. I don't like long movies. I
Except you
saw that this
watch.
was I saw that this was like 2 hours and 5 minutes, and I went, oh no.
It's
But then
not
it
that
was
long.
fine.
Yeah, it's 2 hours. 2 hours is not that long. My
Two
my
hours,
limit is usually about 2:15, and then I start to squirm. Fear and Loathing is like 2 hours and something,
yeah.
isn't it?
And I say that movie's too long. I
Yeah,
love
it
I
feels
love that movie, but it feels so I get 45 minutes in and it's like, oh my gosh, is this
well,
movie done?
it's because it's
But
exhausting. It never stops is kind of the
yeah.
problem.
Um,
So Andy liked the
anyways,
movie, guys.
I like the
That's
movie. It doesn't have my heart. 7.5.
yeah, that tracks.
Yes.
I felt that that was going to be the case. When I recommended it, I was like, I feel like Andy's going to enjoy this. It's going to be good. He's going to have a real good time. And he did. So mission accomplished to the viewers at home.
Yeah. Are we gonna do the thing? Are we gonna make it so that we announce what next episode's movie is gonna be now?
I mean, we could, that would require that we have that prepared ahead of time. I
Well,
don't know
it's
if
on
you
me.
know. Yeah, do you
I
have
don't
that prepared?
know. I don't know. I really want you to watch the Lego Batman movie, but I feel like that's a wild second one. Or you can run out to the theaters and watch Superman or Fantastic Four. I can give you
Superman
the
and
option.
Fantastic Four.
I liked
Okay.
Fantastic Four a lot more.
Okay.
And you don't need to know anything going into either one.
Nothing at all. I don't need the lore. I don't
No,
need to.
you don't need to know the lore. You don't need to know who you are. You don't need to know what a movie is.
I don't need to. I never need to have seen a movie or a theater in my life. I could just walk in and
Yeah.
be like, "What is this
The
place?"
the only thing you need to know about Fantastic Four, and it says this, but it's not obvious, is that it takes place in a different universe, air quotes, than the
Yeah.
normal MCU movies.
Yeah, it looks like it's like retro futuristic, like
Yeah,
kind of like a Watchmen thing, but not as dumb, or
kind
maybe
of.
as
Way
dumb.
more retro
Wow. Wait,
than
was Watchmen
futuristic.
something that you had seen? Have you
I've
seen
not
Watchmen?
seen Watchmen. I've read part of the comic and then I get
Oh,
depressed and then I
dude,
stop.
dude, you won't
Are
get
you
depressed if you
are
watch
you are you writing it
Watchmen.
down?
Yeah, so Watchmen is like, I don't want to give anything away. Watchmen's a
Well,
long movie though.
It's a Zack Snyder movie.
Yeah, it's long.
And it's like one of the most Zack Snyder movies. Oh, I was gonna ask you if you'd seen a movie, and I don't remember what it was. Darn it! Have you
Uh,
seen the Snyder? No, I was gonna ask you if you've seen Rogue One, the
Rogue
Star
One?
Wars movie.
No. I haven't seen, like I said, after the original trilogy and then after the reboot trilogy in the 2000s, I've seen nothing.
Real okay, that's we might have to explore that. I kind of hate that yours are like cinema and mine are like pop culture movies, but we might just have to do that
Hmm.
because it'd be interesting. We can
Okay.
we can talk about what movies you have and haven't seen. The rest of this can be off the record,
Right.
off the recording.
Well, so to wrap up today's episode, Andy had a good time. I'm gonna watch something for next week, and then we're gonna something,
Yeah.
right?
If you've made it this far, thank you. Subscribe or whatever the equivalent is on your podcatcher, because I probably will do like no social media promotion for this show outside of my own personal being like, hey, new episode's out. So
Yeah, and we're
please
doing
do.
very little. This is the most casual thing we could do. So, to the one
Yeah.
guy who's still listening because he put something on and fell asleep, you're welcome. You're welcome that we
Yeah.
went long and that we didn't edit any of the most insane things out of this episode.
Yeah. That's like the problem with the show that the secret society is protecting right now, is that I made the decision to bite off more than I could chew.
Yes.
And the fact I'm already producing a whole nother podcast that
Mhm.
is ever increasingly more like that level of stuff.
It's called a
This is
whole
just
nother podcast, right? That's the name of it. It's
whole
called the
nother
whole nother
the
podcast.
whole nother podcast with Andy Matzke. That's the third one that's just
That's
gonna
the
be
third
me
one.
like when I can't sleep, being like, I just can't. I have so
In the
much going on.
morning, super coked up Andy in his closet, like broadcasting. It's just you with a flashlight under your face talking about like all the
Yeah,
paranoid things, sounds in
yeah.
your house and people in the
Did
walls.
I tell you about when there was sounds in my house and no one was home?
No.
I didn't tell you about that.
Oh, well, yeah,
Oh,
because you had to get the gun. You
yeah,
told
I
me
got the
that while I
gun.
was teeing off. I was
Yeah.
like,
Well, you're Mr. like my dream for this show. I'll tell you what, I will be satisfied if this happens. If we do an episode while we're golfing
while we're
one
golfing.
time. One
That'll
time.
be
We
an
don't have to make
audio
it
nightmare.
we don't have to make it every time. We don't have to make
Mhm.
it every time because we don't need to make something we think is just fun work. But
It's like it's us going, so what'd you think of this movie? And then you just hear like we're on the golf cart and then you're
is
or
your
like it's nuts.
oh goodness.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, you're Mr. You don't have to you can talk during my backswing. That's what you said.
Yeah,
As long as
I
you're
don't,
not gonna distract me.
you're never gonna distract me because I'm not that good. So it doesn't
Uh
matter. Like, actually, I think we've established, because the viewers need to know this. This has everything to do with movies.
oh
I think
yeah.
we've established that, like, I actually do better when I'm not thinking.
When you don't
Because,
care. You just walk, grip it and
yeah,
rip it.
because those few shots actually worked and the rest didn't. So maybe you just need to tell me about stuff while I'm teeing off all the time.
There's a level where my golf game, hey, welcome to the only problem.
Yeah,
Part-time movies, part-time golf
golf.
recap. I shot a 46. I was very proud of that.
Mhm.
Part of my golf game is the mental side of the game is controlling what I think about and controlling what I don't think about with my swing. And
Right.
when I'm really locked in, there's like a couple things I think about, and that's it. And that's feel things. Like it's not even okay, make sure I move my shoulder this much or that.
Mhm.
It's I'm gonna I'm gonna do that. And it's a very like I mean it's hard, it's intangible. So I can't really put it into words,
Right.
like mental side of the game. And I was not doing that last time. Fun fact. I realized afterwards that like a couple of things I try to do when I need to lock in, I was just not doing. I was
Mhm.
just going, okay, I'm just gonna hit it, which is not what I do when I play well. Because
And
then I
yet
start thinking about
you
other
still
things.
got like a 40 something.
I shot
I
a
think you got,
46,
yeah,
which
46.
is yeah, and that's 12 above par because it's a low scoring course. So
Well, so now that the viewers know all about your disturbing fantasies that bore into your mind while you're trying to tee off and prevent you from
mm-hmm.
playing well, and they know about my empty-headedness, everybody needs to subscribe or listen or do whatever they do
Yeah,
because normally we're going to talk about movies more than we talk about golf.
typically,
Typically.
typically. Well, tune in next time.
Next time. Yeah. Do
Are we
do
gonna be
do
done?
do do do. There we go.